Hi everyone, I'm Sarah, Childhood Finds, and we're doing the weekly What Sold video now that I am caught up for last week, and that's going to be during the 4th of July holiday. And I was out of town for most of that week, so I did put my store on vacation mode. I didn't have to, but I just figured it would be easier. So I put it on vacation mode and accepted sales during that time. So sales, of course, were down, which is just that's fine. It's vacation mode. It's not going to be as great as normal. And these are going to be sales from June 30th through July 6th of 2025. And total, I had 44 listings sell. And that was across 5 different platforms. I had 40 on eBay, one Etsy, one Poshmark, one Depop, and one Facebook Marketplace, which honestly is still pretty good for cross listing because I had those. You can't have those selling while you're on time away mode. So I had those completely shut down for a few days, the other platforms, except for Marketplace, of course. And I still managed to get some listings up last week, not as many as usual, and that was 43 new listings, and that totaled out to $1,128, so definitely nowhere near my goal. But I did sell around $1,500 worth of items on eBay, so it was okay. Nothing really to complain about. It was pretty good for being out of town. And I, this week, have been working on my garage and working on my death pile and working on the buy I just did. So I have been just trying to get through that stuff, and I'm starting to see a little inkling that it's going to be better in that garage, because once I can get that organized and get things situated, I'll be able to make like shipping videos. I'll be able to make that polishing flatware video. So a few more weeks, and I think I will see the light at the end of the tunnel for that, because it's been a struggle to get through things. Because I can't afford to just stop listing and working. So I can't just stop and then focus on just cleaning and organizing. I have to keep working and then do the other things on top of it. But otherwise, guys, things are going okay. I'm back to listing like normal, and I'm going to pretty much be in town most of the time, maybe just a couple weekend camping trips for the next few months. So hopefully I can really start to go towards my goals as well, monetary wise. So let's get started on some sales. It's not going to be a super long video because, again, not the best sales in the world this week, but definitely moving forward and lots of positives to look forward to in the coming months. The only other thing I want to talk about very quickly before we get started is I used to diligently respond to every single comment on this channel, and I have just been falling by the wayside on that. I have honestly been overwhelmed. I've talked about that in videos. I've been overwhelmed, and so I try to respond to a few comments here and there when I can, but please know I appreciate and I do read every single comment. Sometimes I just don't have the mental capacity to respond, but I'm going to get better at that as we're going. Just know that I do appreciate them, and I absolutely am so grateful for you guys that do comment, and I will continue to just keep responding. It may be 2 weeks after you write it, but I'll probably respond. I just haven't been as good about it as I used to be. And so this first item is so cute. It sold very quickly, and this is Brass Fantail Dove Bird Art Deco Animal Metal Bookends, and it did sell for $64.95. And these actually I used WorthPoint to help me price because I really couldn't find anything exactly like this except on WorthPoint. I waffle between if I feel WorthPoint is worth it or not, because it is expensive, guys. It's $28.95 a month, and it has paid for itself, so I'm not losing money on it. And you can deduct it on your taxes. You can deduct it as a business use, but I'm not sure if it's worth the expense. Usually you can get what you need going back 3 years on Terapeak, because the other thing to keep in mind with WorthPoint as well is they do not take into account offers. So an item can say that it sold for $300 on WorthPoint, but it might have got an offer of $150. And that's something to keep in mind. And I know that because I've gone and checked multiple items of mine, and also random items that I checked that were on Terapeak. So that is one thing. It just says the price it sold for that was listed. It doesn't say if an offer was taken. So sometimes that can also skew your numbers. But these sold very quickly for $64.95. This is an action figure I recently bought at a yard sale, and it's a Diamond Select Toys Marvel Select Abomination action figure, and it sold for $30.31. This is a set of dinner knives. I love when dinner knives can sell for $30, and it's 4 dinner knives, and the pattern was Variation 5 by Dansk, and I love finding this brand. I don't find it very often, but I've actually found this pattern twice. One in an auction lot that I bought locally, and then one at an estate sale. So this is just a great pattern to find. It sells very well. And this, I showed another shirt just like this in the last What Sold video, but this one did have a personalization, but because it's still a desirable piece, it's still sold. And I just put read, and then I showed up close that it had that, and it's a Del Worsham NHRA Pit Crew shirt, checker, Kragen Auto Parts, and it was a size large, but it still sold for $70, even being personalized. This is probably the second to last bit of my Royal Albert china I have. I bought a big lot of Royal Albert Old Country roses. It's been a few months now. And these are the napkin ring holders. I think I have one more lot of the napkin ring holders, and then I think I'm done. And this sold for $29 on a best offer for just these 3 little napkin ring holders. That's why I say with your dinnerware and things, look for the stuff that had to be purchased separately, the stuff that people had to go out of their way to get, essentially, because that's where the value is, because there's not as much of it out there. And this is a United States U.S. Coast Guard since 1790 adjustable cap, hat, freedom fighter, and it sold for a best offer of $14. I still am picking up hats, even if I can only sell them for $10 to $15. I am happy with that return. They're very quick to list. The caveat is they must be clean. I do not deal with them if they are not clean, if they are cheap hats. It's just sourcing's getting harder and harder. I went to a Goodwill today, and I went through, and there was absolutely nothing I would have bought personally. I don't look at clothes or shoes though at Goodwill, so that definitely takes out, like, I'd say 80% of the store that I go to. And so I have to make sure that I'm okay doing these lower dollar sales. And if I have even though they're slow sales as well, a lot of these hats take time. They're not quick movers. These I got at a estate sale for 50 cents each, and I just lotted them together because they weren't worth a very much apart. And they're Guitar Superstar Series Rush and Led Zeppelin songbooks, and these sold for $12.83. I love picking up songbooks. Some of them can really surprise you. Different ones, look for things that aren't just guitar, ukulele and different things like that. Mandolin. I've sold some mandolin ones that were pretty good. So look for ones that are a little more off the beaten path as well. And look for lots of them too that you can sell. And this is a Coach Khaki Signature C Park Carrier Large Tote with red trim. I hate selling designer stuff. You guys know that. It stresses me out, and this was a very rare exception I made. I got this from my source. It sold for $39.51, but he knows that I kind of avoid any of these designer things like Coach, Louis Vuitton, all of that like the plague, because I just don't want to sell something fake, because I don't know anything about this stuff. I pay, I get cheap stuff. I mean, I just get what I like and fits well. I don't know anything about brands, anything about style, so I can't say if this is quality or not. But it's sold, and I probably won't do that again because it's stressful. And this is Gorham Golden Ribbon Edge set of 4 dinner forks, and they sold for $40. This I picked up on Facebook Marketplace, and this pattern in particular has taken quite a long time to sell, but again, it doesn't take up that much space, and my flatware, I haven't been getting a lot of flatware lately, but all that I have backed up should hopefully start to sell pretty good during Christmas time. I'm also thinking the dinnerware that I'm starting to pick up will also do pretty well during Christmas time. This is Spawn Scarab Assassin figure McFarlane series. It's Age of Pharaohs, sold for $18.35. And this I got recently for $5. I don't know why this picture got so whitewashed when I took it, but I just kind of went with, I don't want to retake it, so I just accepted it. And it's a Daniel Nicole Disney The Evening Star Frappuccino Crossbody Tiana bag. And it sold for $50 very quickly. This has been listed for quite a while, and it's a brass miniature dollhouse pan pot pitcher, lot of 4. And reed was because, if you can see here, the pitcher, it's separating on the handle. So that was all I said in the reed, but $14 for these tiny little things wasn't bad. Then I have a Unipack Designs Black White Cow 16-inch plush long hair farm stuffed animal. This is not a brand I typically pick up, but this was really cute, and it had its tag, and it did finally sell for $18.95. I'm going to guess 6 months plus, but it was very cute, but it's not a brand I would suggest picking up. These I got from my source, and they're sterling silver 95 blue turquoise shadow box domed earrings. Very pretty little things, and they did sell for $28.95. These, I told you guys that I bought some pipes, and this is an unbranded imported Briar tobacco estate smoking pipe, and this sold for $14.95. I think I only have maybe 2 of the pipes left, so they sold very quickly. This came from a lot that I bought on Facebook Marketplace that I told you guys about. I'm still not in the profit on that lot, but it should happen eventually. And this is Arbonne Intelligence Not So Basic Exfoliating Mask Thermal Fusion, and this did sell for $37.95. And here is more of the music lot, because I just bought a stack of these songbooks at a garage estate sale type thing, and they were 50 cents a piece. So I figured even if some of them didn't sell for very much, if I lotted them together, they'd be worth it. I think I paid $10 for the stack, and this lot sold for $18. And this was notes and tabs, and it had Aerosmith, Beatles, Scorpions, Creed. But I did have a couple in that lot, probably 5 plus, that were worth selling by themselves. This is Eco Men's Track 25 low waterproof leather hiking shoes, and they sold for $50. They took a couple of months, but they did sell. Here's another one. So the next 3 pipes sold to the same buyer, and this one is a Bin Wade Estate London, England smoking pipe for $30. And then this is a Rope Deluxe Estate smoking pipe made in France, sold for $28.95. And then this one, Biltmore custom made carved Israeli state smoking pipe, and it sold for $29.95. So all of those went to the same buyer for right around $89. And I briefly mentioned that I bought a bunch of yarn, and this is the first lot of the yarn to sell. It's going to take me a while to make my money back on the yarn, but it's good listing right now. And it's this time of year right now, sourcing is really kind of rough. People don't want to have yard sales when it's 100 degrees. They just don't. And it's just, I haven't seen as many sales this year. It's definitely harder. So this helped me kind of bridge the gap until August, September. And this is Pauline Denim Floralese Wool Mohair Blend Yarn, 10 skeins, and it was a forest green color, and it sold for a best offer of $25. This is a Viewmaster. It had 25 reels, and this, I talked about these before. Your Viewmasters don't sell for very much, really. The reels are where the money is. Probably this Viewmaster would sell for maybe $8 by itself. So it's not like it's a lot of money in the reels, but you definitely want the reels to make it worth it, because this is an easy lot to make. You just got to have those reels. Then we have a Douglas Baby Cuddle Giraffe Soft Plush 18-inch Schlumpy security blanket. This sold for a best offer of $12.20, I believe. And this has been listed for probably a year. But I don't mind that with this kind of plush. It's easy. And I do believe I got it for like $1 at a, no, that was a Goodwill. This was a Goodwill. And then just two last ones I have because I'm still messing up on Depop, so I can't show you that one. And this is a gold filigree lipstick brush holder, vintage Hollywood Regency. Sold for $19.95. I already got positive feedback from the buyer, which was great. I now have 3 positive feedbacks on Etsy, so gaining ground. But I'm seeing that brass and this kind of mid-century modern pretty things, that's what's selling on Etsy for me personally so far. And I've sold some books. I've only had 14 sales there, so I can't say much. But I mean, I've made more than I've made on Mercari all year, and I've only been on Etsy for a couple months. So that being said, then this last one was a Facebook marketplace. This was one that it it did surprise me but didn't. I knew this was going to sell because of what is depicted in the painting. And this is Emerald Bay in South Lake Tahoe. And it was a local artist from probably the 80s. It was done by Ida Hoff. And this would have sold for probably 80 to 100 on eBay. So I got right at retail for it. I had a ton of people interested. I actually had one person upset. They sent me a frowny emoji. It was funny. It was kind of funny because they weren't willing to drive to me. They were wanting to wait until I came into town. And I had already tried to hold this painting for one person and they ghosted me. So I just said, I can't hold it again. I'm just not going to. Not when there's so much interest in the item. I try to work with people on Marketplace. I really do. But because there was so much interest, I just wasn't willing to hold this for over a week until I happened to go into the bigger city that she was in. And so she was upset that I sold it. But I told her, she could have driven the half hour to me to come get it. Because I had someone that messaged me and then an hour later came and picked it up. And that's what I do with Marketplace. If I see something, I go and get it as soon as possible or as soon as the seller will let me. So that's all I have to share with you. Definitely a shorter what sold video, but I'm excited to share eventually my setup that I'm doing in the garage. And because I have over 2,300 listings now, so I'm excited to share with you what I'm doing to try to handle the growth I am experiencing, because I pretty much, I have grown a lot and have been continuing to try and grow, but I've also been, you guys know my channel, on my channel, I've been quite depressed. So it was a messy growth. And so I'm finally combating that with some help from my partner. And I am excited to see how it can help me. I think it will make it so I can list more and also spend more time on YouTube videos. Because right now, you spend a lot of time rummaging for stuff and moving things from place to place, and that gets really old. So I'm hoping that if I take out that aspect, I will have some more time to dedicate to YouTube, because I am finally seeing a little bit of growth on YouTube and I would love to continue to grow this. So thank you to all of you guys who support me. I think I'm right at 3,200 subscribers now, and I've been doing this just, let's see, 2 years and almost 6 months, so almost 2.5 years. I'm thinking I'm a little bit over 2 years and 5 months, so right around 2.5 years I've been doing this. So I've definitely had a slow growth on YouTube, but it's exciting to see it starting to pick up a little. And so everybody, thank you for joining me on this, and I will see you on the videos next week.